guys, it's Upshatter here and welcome back to another episode of Space Engineers. Right, so here we go. Today might be montage time because today a lot of welding has to be done. But first, you know, I have to honor the eagle-eyed viewer who spotted that I forgot to link up this turret. Indeed, I forgot. I placed the conveyor behind this, but this one down here was still a normal straight conveyor, and it wasn't a T-section, so they wouldn't connect up anyway. Now this is connected, and technically I should be able to now... I should be able to... Yeah, see, no, wait. Components? Oh, yeah, that's right. Only ammo goes through here. I have to produce some ammo for it to actually function. Not sure we can do that. Let's see. Just make a few... Ah, see? It gets it. Nice. Okay. Cool. So that works. That works just fine. Okay. But again, the main thing for today is going to be welding all the, you know, the parts that still need welding. To be fair, all the way back here we have almost everything completed. There's this slot here that still needs to be doing. It still needs doing. But other than that, we are fairly close. I mean, there's the whole wheel wheel guard thing that we still need to do for sure, but you know, there's an end in sight, which is very nice. Also, when it comes to the color coding, I had a thought again about it, because obviously color coding doesn't really work if it doesn't go into your head, if it doesn't click, if you cannot memorize it. Now, I think I found a way to memorize it. So, blue, not only is at the back, blue back, that kind of works, but also at the back there's oxygen, and I associate oxygen with like blue, you know, because it's made out of ice in this game, so it's blue, right? Then the middle section, that's where the drills are, that's where the machines are, that's where the danger is, right? That's dangerous area, you can get hurt there and everything like that. So, yellow, danger, you know, that kind of works. And then the front is green, because green means go, you know? Green is going forward, green is everything fine, so that's why it's the front. So, I think that works for me, personally. So, I'm very happy with that. So, yeah. Mainly gonna do welding today, and... seriously, I'm probably gonna do like a little montage thing, which means today's episode is probably gonna be a little bit shorter, because, you know, the thing is, if you're just doing monotone welding jobs like that, it's kind of hard to like talk about it for half an hour. That's a bit awkward, a little bit difficult, as you might imagine. But yeah, I think there's nothing else to really do with this craft here, right? Although I have to say, I've actually started playing another space game recently. It's not a new one, it's been out for a while, I think. And basically friends of mine have created a server where they play on together, and so I decided to get the game as well and play a little bit as well. And it's kind of like, for me at least, it's kind of like the opposite of Space Engineers, which sounds weird. But I think it holds out very well in comparison. So the game is called Avorion, which is, I think it's made by a German dude. Like, one dude made it over, like, I don't know how many years. I'm not that familiar with the game, but I think it's just one dude, or at least it was one dude at the beginning. It's kind of a staggering thing for one person to make. But essentially, it's like let's say if Space Engineers is like more focused on building and engineering, Avorion is more like on exploring and universe exploration. It's more like a 4X kind of thing, because you can build up your own fleet of ships quite easily. Well, quite easily, I say. It's more easy than it is here, and way more convenient. You can, you know, build your own stations, create your own faction, stuff like that. And the thing is, when it comes to designing ship, it's like the complete opposite of what it is here, because here it's very... Ship design is... You know, it consists of several things. You have to consider, like, the functional side of it, where you just have a certain functional blocks that need to be there, but then you have to link them together in a meaningful way. You have to be able to traverse in a ship, especially, you know, in a large grid ship. You have to be able to, you know, traverse it in a certain way to make it useful to you. So there's interior and exterior design to be content with, and if you're doing like combat, PvP, it's all about hiding your most vital blocks between rows and rows of armor, you know, having like, how would you call it, like reactive armor, I think you would normally call it, but like armor that is able to soften the impact of explosive ammunition so it doesn't damage any of your insides, that kind of stuff, you know. And Avorian's ship design is, I wouldn't want to call it simplistic, because that has like a negative connotation to it, but basically what you do is you place down functional blocks that do something for your ship. You know, you have like, let's say a generator that just generates an X amount of energy. It doesn't need to be fed by anything, just the block existing generates energy. It costs certain materials to build, but once it's built, it just generates energy. And then there's blocks that obviously consume that energy and do something with it. For example, thruster blocks obviously give you thrust in a certain direction, and they will consume energy. Or, for example, there's like... It's a bit more futuristic than this game, because there's like shields and laser weapons and stuff like that. They all of that, you know, it consumes energy, so you'll have to have, you know, energy. But there's no like interlinking of systems, so you don't have to... There's no building of conveyors or stuff like that. If you want to have cargo on your ship, you just slap cargo blocks onto your ship. Doesn't matter where exactly. They don't need to be connected, so really doesn't matter. And there's also no interior designing of ships, because you fly the ships always in third person. And if you exit the ship, you're not an astronaut or anything, you're a drone. And the drone is actually quite huge. There's like silhouettes you can activate in the game in the building mode, so you can have like a comparison on how big your ship is. And I think even the smallest ship is probably like 20-30 meters in height. Like the smallest block size I think is something about 10 or 20 meters or something. It's huge. So it's a lot more, the scale is a lot bigger and a lot easier. It scales a lot easier into huge sizes than this game does. But then there's like a minimum size you can go where, you know, it lets you build. And also it's the way it works then in combat is very special, because it kind of accumulates stats for your ship. And then when weapons hit you, it basically... Your ship has almost like an HP count. And unless you are building like the cheapest variant of ship, basically it's not gonna happen that certain blocks of yours get destroyed before your whole ship is gone. There's something called I think it's called an integrity feed. And it's available very early on, and you basically put it on all of your ships, because it basically makes it so that your ships, you know, the blocks on your ship don't just break when they get shot at. It makes basically your whole ship into a very cohesive unit that has a certain amount of HP. And the HP is determined by the amount of blocks that you put on your ship and the kind of blocks. So for example, if you put scaffolding blocks onto your ship, you might want to do that because they, you know, maybe they look nice, or I don't know why you would do it, but scaffolding is extremely light, so that means even if you put a lot of them on your ship, it doesn't slow you down too much, because if the more mass you have, the more thrusters you need, right? So it doesn't slow you down that much, but they contribute almost nothing in HP. And then on the other side of that spectrum is like heavy armor blocks, which contribute a lot of HP, but they will slow you down. So the more heavy armor you have, the more thrusters you will need to move at a, you know, a smart speed. So yeah, it's very interesting because the game really provides things that I don't get in Space Engineers. You know, what I love in Space Engineers is the ingenuity of exactly this kind of stuff. You know, all these little like conveyor systems, and then being able to navigate in between, having programmable blocks take care of small functions of your ship. There's a lot that goes into one ship, while in Avorion, you're essentially shipbuilding. It probably can be very complicated if you want to min-max, but even without a tutorial, I was able to slap down a ship in like 5 minutes, and a decent one at that. And now that I've got a few more hours into the game, I'm able to build fairly good ships, because I know what you need to look for, and it's so much easier to do. Even on a bigger scale, it's easier to do than this game. But of course, you know, you lose that finesse that this game has, of course. And Avorion only is spacebound, so you have no planetary crafts or anything like that. But then again, Avorion gives me something that this game doesn't, or at least not much. Avorion is very big on exploration and interaction with like factions and stuff, because there's like a lot of factions in the game. There's like an enemy alien faction that invades your galaxy, and you have to fight them off. There's pirates all over the place. There is, I think, the factions as well are like most everything in the game is like procedurally generated, or at least generated at the start from a seed. So the whole universe is generated, and it's quite large. So you're just flying around, you're finding, you know, factions, you can ally yourself with them, and you can play in any style that you want. You know, you can play as a trader. You can just haul cargo around and sell it at different spaceports, where, you know, buy stuff that is in overstocked, and then sell it at other places where it's fairly rare and you get money for it. You can hunt down pirates. You can become like a smuggler and smuggle illegal goods around, always with the danger of being caught. You can wage war on whole factions and stuff like that. It's really cool, and you can. I haven't gotten to that point yet, but you can also basically build your own space stations, which then you can basically automate to do certain stuff. You know, to produce certain goods, or provide services and stuff like that. And there's also like a lot of AI automation in the game. So essentially you can just build ships, like a lot of them. You can make a whole fleet, but you can give basically every ship like basic commands, like follow me and stuff like that. But you can also give, essentially you can have specialized crew on your ship. Every ship has a crew. You know, if you have a lot of guns on your ship, you need more gunners. If you have mining turrets, you need miners. If you have a lot of engineers on your ship, you can fly faster and your ship repairs faster. It's stuff like that. And there's also captains, and captains essentially allow you to give ships like certain orders, and even fairly complicated orders. So we can send ships like over there to this sector, and then send them on a mining trip for like 4 hours. Then they will return and give you the resources, stuff like that. So we can really like it kind of reminded me of other games, like maybe a weird example, but like Factorio, where the goal is to automate stuff, and it kind of makes it very enjoyable, you know. Although, to be fair, you do that in this game as well. You know, instead of mining things by hand, I have now outsourced or automated this by employing a big ass drill. And in Avorion, basically the first thing that I do right now when I start a new game is try to get as much money as I can, hire a captain, and then basically build a small mining ship for him, and then he just goes on mining, and so I don't have to do the mining anymore, and then I can just go and do what I find fun, which is hunting pirates and exploring the system and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I've been also playing recently. It's a fun game. It's a very fun game, and again, for one dude to have made it, it's fairly good. I mean, graphic-wise, it's very blocky. There are like non-block shapes in the also, well, non-block. I mean, you know, there's like slopes and corner pieces, all the same, like in this game, but it is a lot more blocky and simplistic. But still, it manages to make things look good regardless, in my opinion, because it all fits together, you know. And it's actually a fairly small game, and that's also very interesting. But yeah, that's probably because of the more simplistic textures and art style and everything. But still, looks good. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. I've been playing actually multiplayer and single player, because, you know, multiplayer we're doing like a big alliance kind of thing where we'll work together, and there I'm always a little bit like trying to do the best I can, because I'm playing with a few more experienced players and they're already off doing crazy stuff, and I'm just, you know, I'm lagging a little bit behind, but I'm just, you know, in my own lane, in my own pace, you know, hunting small pirates. I'm very happy every time I'm able to kill a pirate boss. There's actually like one pirate boss that always shows up again, or rather it's always like a new one. I think the first time you meet him he's just called, I think he's called Swok, pirate boss Swok. And then you kill him, and then the next time he shows up again, but this time it's Swok the Second. And even you can, I think you can mention it to him in the dialogue, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that was one of my brothers," or something like that. And I think in our universe we're up to like Swok the 25th or so at this point, because we keep killing him all the time. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of good humor in the game as well. You know, like a lot of references to pop culture, to Star Wars, to Lord of the Rings. There's a lot of fun, like little references here and there. It's really a lovely game, I have to say. Energy low. Look at that, and so quickly goes almost 20 minutes of freaking oh my god, I'm running low on plates. Hold your imaginary horses. How are we looking down here? Oh yeah, we can send that thing down for sure. Drill depth. That's drill head. This one? Yeah, it's this one. Okay. We'll have to, Jesus Christ, I didn't realize that. My goodness. Yeah, we need resources. Otherwise, we're running out of freaking steel plates. Although we're getting close to completion, so it's not like we need that much more. But still, it was dangerously close to running out, so better get some new, fresh resources. But see, again, that's what I love about this game, that you're so up close and personal to the stuff, you know? And you can watch your drill boring down into the bowels of the earth. You can see your machines working. It's very intricate, and that's what I love about this game, you know? All the little pieces coming together, working. And, you know, even if it doesn't, sometimes it just doesn't, and that's fine too. You know, it's like trial and error kind of thing in this game sometimes, I suppose. Okay. We'll probably also need to make... Yeah, okay. Let's make some more plates then. Jesus Christ. Also, we need energy. There you go. There you go. And look, I think we're over halfway done. Although, to be fair, there's still some things underneath that we need to weld as well. So just need to see that I don't forget that. Also, that's why the turret up there, the moment I read the comment, I loaded up the world and fixed it, because I knew if I didn't, I would forget it. I definitely would. So that's why I fixed it immediately when I read the comment. I think it was on lunch break or something. I was reading the comment and I'm like, oh god, I need to fix it right now. That was kind of fun. But yeah, I know myself, so I know better than to just wait and let it and hope that I remember. But that's just general how I am. Whenever I have something that I cannot forget, I have to set like a timer on my phone. I have to set like, you know, reminders in my calendar and stuff like that. Because I know if I'm doing something else and I'm really into it, if it's something that really takes up my whole like brain capacity, let's say, then I tend to forget stuff. I can't like really get into certain games, or I mean, Space Engineers is one of them. When I'm on like when I'm doing like creative mode and I'm building a certain thing and I feel I'm totally into it and I totally, you know, I'm getting consumed by it, and then suddenly I look up and then it's like 3 hours later, I'm like, damn, that's not how long I wanted to do this. It's sometimes a bit difficult with games like Space Engineers, where there's like no natural end to it. There's some games that are very nice for like short portion gaming, you know. For example, what I've been playing a lot over the last few months is Against the Storm, which is kind of like a roguelike, I think the term would be. Like a roguelike city building survival game. It's a very weird way to describe it, but essentially you're every time you start a game, you essentially have to build a settlement in the wilderness, reach certain goals, and then that settlement is complete, and then you build the next one. And each of them basically takes between, let's say, 20 and 30 minutes to do. Or it depends on what speed you're playing on. I'm at this point, I'm playing on max speed all the time, so it takes me about 20, okay, let's say 20 to 30 minutes. But if you're starting to play the game and you play on normal speed because everything goes a bit too fast otherwise, you can spend like an hour or two on, or maybe an hour or so or two on one of these settlements, and then you're done. And then you go to the next one. So that's kind of nice as well, you know, when you have games that kind of like portion your satisfaction in like small bundles, so it's a lot easier to manage than, you know, if you're doing some, I don't know, some MMO or type of thing, or this where there's just like no end to it. The kind of, I also have that in Civilization or in Total Warhammer, when I'm just like, oh yeah, just one more turn, which then turns into 17 more turns, and then this guy declares war, and then now I have to defend on this front, and now that's 20 more turns, and Jesus Christ, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I need to sleep. That kind of thing, you know? It just happens sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. Time management and everything, you know? It's a difficult skill. Especially with things you enjoy, I suppose. But I do have to, like, portion myself a little bit. I found out that I enjoy some things a lot more if I don't like overexpose myself to it, you know. And I really notice it with Cyberpunk right now. I was recently looked at the Steam played hours of Cyberpunk, and it was, I think, at 20 hours now. And I had the feeling it was a lot longer than that. I was thinking I was about in like 50 hours or so. It felt like that because, you know, this game kept me now busy for several weeks. And normally when I don't portion myself like that, if I don't restrain myself, what will happen is that my like very obsessive brain will kick in, and it will play the game to death in like over one weekend, and then I, you know, basically I will get enough of it, and then I won't play it again for months. And I think it's more healthier for me to just occasionally enjoy things for an hour or two, then switch to something else, you know. I also started to play less Space Engineers just because of that. Every once in a while I'll still dabble in, you know, in creative mode, but I've started to, like, you know, try to restrict myself that I don't do it all the time, because when I do a lot of creative mode, it also kind of burns me out on how I do things here. So I think it's a lot better to, you know, just try and get a few hours in, then do something else. I think it keeps it a lot fresher that way, I suppose. Look at that. We are at the last freaking corner, I would say. That's pretty neat. And now we're also closer to the entrance, which will make things a lot more smooth from here on out. You also get some energy. Whoop. Look how quickly we can navigate. Isn't that a beauty? Yep. There you go. Okay, and then we have to do a little bit of underneath welding as well, obviously. There is a few things that we have to get rid of and have to weld, but other than that, I think we can get done this episode. And I actually managed it without a montage. Now, if that... You can argue that would have been better. Sometimes I'm not so sure my ramblings are that that interesting, but... You know, the thing is, I always think when I have something to talk about, and I do. That's kind of the reason why I do these videos. I like to just, you know, air my mind a little bit, and it's also just fun for me. And it also helps me with my English to keep it like up to date. You know, just using it all the time will help me actually use it when I need to use it. Because that's why I cannot speak French. I had French in school for I think 6 years? No, hold on. I think it starts at... No, actually 6 years could be. Something like that. And I cannot speak a word of French. Well, maybe a few basic phrases and that's it. Because I never used it. Because it's a language that I don't like. It's such an annoying language. Mainly because of the grammatical weirdness of it. And maybe also because the teacher that taught us French was kind of, I don't want to say bad, but it just didn't click with me. So, you know. And then on the other hand, there was English, which after like a first year of English in school, I could speak better English than I could French, which is kind of... So, I guess you can say it's quite a lucky that I work in a job environment where English is pretty much a predominant language. So, I lucked out there, I guess. Because I'm pretty sure even if I have to, like, engage with people that natively speak French in my field of work, because they work in IT, they, like, 90% of the time they can also speak English, and they can speak it well. So that's kind of nice, I suppose. But yeah, there you go. So we're about done for today, but I think I just want to finish this up, because that means that next time we can essentially take off, right? We can just go wherever we want. I would suggest that we go to one of the mining hotspots. I especially would be interested in the iron mine that we have previously mined at manually with our drill, that we go there and just let the drill go to town and then just see depth level wise how deep down we can go, because that would be interesting to me. These holes are quite deep and I'm pretty sure they will reach, but sometimes it's difficult to imagine without having like a visual proof of it. So yeah, I'd kind of like to see that. Also, getting a lot of iron will definitely help us if we need to do any further construction. So yeah, see, now we just need this one row here. We need to weld that. That's the only thing we need to do now, pretty much. So, damn. Lots of steel plates destroyed. Well, not destroyed. Consumed today. Integrated into the greater good that is our land cruiser. And then I guess we'll have to do a little, you know, just a little test drive just to see if this thing actually can drive properly. Oh, and there is a bit of welding to be done here. Good thing I spotted that, because I wasn't quite sure if I was finished over here. There, so that's good. These two here, those are done. Oh god, didn't get quite far. Yeah, it's probably gonna be 2 or 3 more trips and then we're done. And then I think I have a few like steel plates that, you know, the small ones, the small armor panels that I wanna slap on basically below the vehicle at certain points. I wanna cover a few things up, but that's a quick thing to do then. But I can smell victory here. We're almost finished. That was... oh god. Okay, yeah, okay. We're about to finish here. Nice. Ooh, I'm excited. And I don't want to jinx it, but I haven't died yet. I know, there's like Death's Calling card, right? Like in... wasn't it in Scream where they had the rules of what not to do in a horror movie? That kind of thing, you know? What was it? Don't say I'll be back. Don't have sex, I think is one of them. Never be alone. I cannot really remember. It's such a long time ago that I watched that movie. Jesus. Boom. Done. Right? Done. Done and dusted. Yes? I think we're really and truly done. Okay, let me just fix a few armor panels on the bottom. And then we can officially be done with this behemoth of a vehicle. Just go to the bottom. I'm essentially talking about these things here. I just want to fix them up. Because they don't need to be visible towards the floor, in my opinion. I will just slap some armor plates on them. That's the good thing about these things. I was so happy when they introduced those. They fix so many problems I had before, where things are visible and I don't want them to be visible, but if I want to cover them up, it will enlarge my ship exponentially, and so this is so good. You just place all of them, or I have to go up and resupply. Spoke too soon. That's gonna be the last load we need then. Whew. Okay, here we go. So I think that's everything. No, I think everything here is covered up as well. So that's good. Alright, let's weld this bad boy. Alright. Here we go. I think that's it. Yep. Woo! Look at our beautiful boy. We've managed to create quite a monstrosity. But I think it's finished. Which means we can take it for a spin. Not sure how strong or how fast it's gonna be. I also don't know how fast I'm comfortable with driving this. But I guess we'll figure it out. So yeah, I think the first spot where we'll go is over there, where we have our iron mine. And also, I just let it run. I think this is soon gonna be on like max extension as well soon enough, so we'll be able to even extend it more. I mean, this can go like double the distance, more than double the distance than it is right now. So yeah. We'll just keep it running. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. See you next time, and take care.